Hi, everybody. My name's Maureen O'Donnell, and I manage the Business Working Responsibly Mark scheme. As Thomas mentioned, we've got an action-packed agenda for you this morning, which includes 3 conversations with certified and recertified companies. Our first conversation is with one of our recertifying companies, and as you see on screen here, we have Priscilla O'Regan on our virtual stage. Priscilla is Head of Communications for BT Ireland. Welcome, Priscilla.
Good morning, Maureen.
Congratulations on another successful young scientist. Well done on adapting to these interesting times.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I think as part of our conversation recently, it was a big decision for BT to go ahead with something as mammoth as the BT Young Scientists and Technology exhibition. And I guess when I reflect on it, it could have been the easy decision for BT to postpone it, but as so many of the conversations we'll have here today, it is about the impact your sustainability makes. And we said, BT Young Scientist, the purpose and the vision was always to inspire young people in getting an interest in STEM. So why put talent on hold? If we as a technology company can't pivot to virtual, it would be a shame. So yes, went ahead with it and really delighted with the outcome.
Yeah, and a lot of companies have really struggled to make that pivot to the virtual world. So it's brilliant that you guys did that, all at the same time while recertifying. So you just recertified this past year. Congratulations. Why did you choose to go through that process again?
Yeah, we went through it in 2018, led by my colleague Gina Kelly. But if you look at our industry in terms of technology industry, and you look at what also has happened in ESGs or EESGs, as Thomas said there at the start, so much has changed. And we decided that to have an independent audit of our work was really valid, particularly for our key stakeholder groups, whether it's our employees, our customers, investors, shareholders, communities, etc. It's a massive piece of work, I won't lie, but actually I always said to the team that was involved, that just goes to show, how thorough, robust, consistent, and how proud we should be, when we get recertified. So we just feel that, this is so important to our stakeholders that it's great proof that we're not actually greenwashing, because there's still so much, feedback that companies just want to say, yes, we're doing sustainability. The mark definitely proves that you're doing sustainability and making an impact.
You say that with great certainty in your voice, Priscilla.
You have the wrinkles to show it, Maureen.
And I'll say too, certainly from an external perspective, as you mentioned, that stakeholder approach, that is something, as Thomas was highlighting in the IBEC research, talking about CEO priorities and the fact that, we have the super urgent ones there at the top, and then we have these ones that are a bit more strategic, that are unfortunately down the list a little bit. From an external perspective, your stakeholders, clearly that they value this process that you're going through, and clearly they value the work that you're doing on continuous improvement.
Definitely, and actually, interestingly enough, it's a very timely conversation. This morning, I'm also working on a customer tender, and one of the first times where I've actually seen where the customer is actually saying, how are you helping us with our sustainability goals? So it's not that criteria section in a bid that says, please tick the box. Do you have this ISO? Do you have, they all, obviously as part of the response, you would have to show that. But interestingly, this is much more about, here's our sustainability and what are you as a partner and a supplier going to do to actually help us with. So I think that is a brilliant example of where it's much more important to our external stakeholders, and increasingly so.
That is really good to hear. And what you're saying is echoed by a lot of the other companies that we talk to, and part of the business case, I think, for going through this. But you also mentioned that there were some internal changes and positive impacts that were had as well as going through the mark process. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, I think when we went through the process, you know, it depends how your company is organized in ways. So as you went through the process, you know, brilliant pockets of work happening. So, you know, this is as much as, you know, not everything will need remedies and different things, but it's, you know, what we found is actually there may be silos in your organization where you knew good work was happening, but actually where's that oversight? Where's that like holistic view where you can show that actually everyone is getting the same experience internally, etc. So there was one part of our business where it accelerated our decision to actually promote someone in the sense of extending their role, so that then there was one person accountable and responsible for that area of the business. So the mark definitely reinforced our decision in terms of organizational structure.
That's a really good point. And, you know, in terms of the independent auditing of the mark, so it's not just you're saying that this is what it is. It's not a self-attestation. It's actually the auditors coming in and verifying this for you, that third-party audit structure.
Well, I think an external lens is always really important for an organization, and that has been great value, whether it's BITC or NSAI, because sometimes, you know, we might be a bit too internal and focused and think, you know, this is the way we've done things. And then someone external looks at it and the process is very rigorous in initial assessments, mock audits. And each time you go, oh, that makes sense. You know, maybe we should align ourselves like this as well. So I find the external lens was extremely valuable for us.
That's great. Thanks, Priscilla. We're nearly out of time, but I've got just a couple minutes left, and I would love to talk to you about version 5. Version 5 is our new content. Thomas teased it there in his opening. One of the things about version 5 is that it has this category called responsible technology. And as a techie myself, I am so excited about that. But you guys are a technology company. So maybe if you could just talk about your interpretation in the next minute or two of responsible technology. What does it mean to BT? And how do you think that the process that you've gone through now is going to stand you when you're converting your certification to version 5?
I suppose if we go to the basics, BT's purpose is to connect for good, and our ambition is to be the most trusted connector of the world's most trusted connector of people, devices, and machines by 2030. So if you look at both of those, you know, technology is transforming lives, whether it is, you know, connected homes, smart cities. And so, you know, the focus for BT is that when we're developing, using, or selling technology, that we step back and we ask questions and answer the questions, such as where does it benefit people, but also to minimize harm, for example. So BT has formed a responsible tech working group to work through all of that. So to say to yourself, what unintended consequences could this technology have on a group of people? What's the impact on their rights, etc. So they're really important as we step through all of those stages, and, you know, including our supply chain in that conversation as well. And just a practical example, for example, in Ireland, we're very active members of hotline.ie, which is the national reporting line for illegal content and, you know, unfortunately child sexual abuse material. And they're having to broaden their remit to include intimate image abuse, racism, etc. Working internally and externally with different groups to think through what we sell, develop, etc., and its role in society, but, you know, real focus on minimizing harm.
That is brilliant, and that's a great angle to think about this from. Technology has great potential, but it also has the great potential for harm. So thinking about it from those two perspectives is brilliant. Priscilla, we are out of time. Thank you so much for your time and for your inspiring words. I really appreciate it.